Everybody, this one's caused a bit of a fuss, hasn't it, right across the country? Not an NPR camera, I can guarantee you. Okay, it's a multi-fusion photon ionizing radiation radar gun. They're extremely dangerous. This multi-phasing type bright LED array here can cause brain injury and death. Okay, it's a weapon system.
How do we know that this is a weapon system? Check out this footage. This guy is staring right into the camera just before it takes him out. He knows where it's coming from. And many other people have experienced the exact same thing. People know that these cameras have been weaponized. It's not just the ULEZ cameras. It's basically all CCTV cameras that are connected to the smart grid that have been weaponized. And it's taking people out. This is the new social credit score system that people are trying to warn you about, and it's very real. And so let's just look at this footage again, because this is basically the last will and testament of this victim trying to let you know what's going on. So he feels like he's being attacked. He's looking at the source. He's staring right into the camera. He knows where it's coming from. And that's all she wrote. For this victim and many other victims that are being taken out right now. This is why people need to get the message out there that this smart city infrastructure has been weaponized, and it's a real threat to people all around the world, including children. We're seeing children getting taken out. You see how these people are spinning around like something's attacking them. Sometimes you'll see them flailing their arms. They're trying to protect themselves. This isn't a vaccine-related heart attack where people just drop dead. This is something completely different. And you wouldn't know unless people brought it up. And that's why we're talking about it, because this system has been weaponized. And it's slightly different than other energy weapon-based systems. This is actually using photons, weaponized photons. It's the LED light itself that has been weaponized in these cameras. And it's the same thing with the new cars with the LED headlights and the street lights. This is one component of the weapon system. The other component is classic energy weapon beamforming technology as well. But these things are going up everywhere, especially in the UK and in every smart city network. And basically it's part of the social credit score system. It's just one layer of what we're dealing with. But looking at these cameras in action, you can tell there's something wrong. You can even feel this thing basically through the video. That's how bad these things are. And so they're not for your safety. It's part of the 15-minute city Agenda 21. You will own nothing. You will eat bugs. We will assimilate you. Cashless society, beast system thing. This is what this is all about. And of course, you know, vaccines are part of the equation as well, with all the graphene that people have been injected with. But even as a pureblood, you're still susceptible to directed energy weapons. And people are trying to get the message out, but the message is being silenced and censored by the system. That's why it's important that people repost and mirror this content to get people aware of the situation. It's so bad that public schools are even starting to shield against this radiation. But we're surrounded by a death grid that's basically self-aware. And it's programmed to exterminate purebloods, conservatives, and Christians. How do we know that? Because they're programmed by libtards in Silicon Valley. And basically, it's part of the woke agenda to take out and to replace the competition. We're the main target of this system, but other people are being taken out as well to facilitate the plandemic narrative and the coming disease X pandemic as well. So they make people sick. At first they rolled out the 5G, people started getting sick, and then they're like, it's a virus. And then, of course, the vaccines made it worse, and they were hoping that this would go on forever, to lock us down, to be in control, show us your papers, and the like. But people started waking up. And all these people that are waking up or have woken up are basically now the main target of this system. So don't think that, it's over just because you dodged the vaccine bullet. There's much worse things out there than the vaccines, believe it or not. And it's basically parked in everybody's neighborhoods. These cameras are part of the problem, as well as these cell towers and the rest of the network.
Hi everybody. Well, this one's caused a bit of a fuss, hasn't it, right across the country. Not any NPR camera, I can guarantee you. Okay.
The video guy. Big shout out to Mark Steele and his research.
It's a multi-fusion photo.
He's been instrumental in shedding light on this weapon system, especially with the LED lights and these cameras. But everywhere you go, you're basically getting blasted with radiation. And it gets even worse when you're a target of this system. You're not just getting dosed like everybody else. You're basically getting special treatment from this system that's driven by artificial intelligence. The whole 5G beamforming thing basically means that these cell towers are beaming people, and they ramp up the dose for people that are on the list. This system follows you wherever you go. People have tried running from it, from city to city, town to town, state to state, country to country. Basically, the entire Western world has been booby-trapped with these weapons. These cell towers are a Trojan horse parked in everybody's neighborhood that's basically irradiating them and making people sick. If you've been feeling the 5G symptoms since the rollout of 5G, you're not alone. It's part of the targeting program. And it's why we tell people, if you've been experiencing sudden pain, the sudden onset of pain without injury, chronic fatigue, recurring headaches, heart palpitations, vertigo, hissing or buzzing in the ears, you're being targeted by this system. You're being lit up by the radar, and you're getting beamed by this system. It's happening to most people out there right now. And you can call it, long COVID, you can call it something else, but essentially it's part of the extermination program. You'd be surprised how much difference shielding makes in terms of these symptoms. And it's why we continue to recommend to people to basically protect themselves, to start shielding, and to start wearing body armor if necessary to survive. Because many people are being targeted, many people are being killed, and it's only going to get worse as more and more of this technology rolls out. And right now we're basically halfway in between 5G and 6G. So they're making major upgrades to the networks every day. And when 6G rolls out, it's basically going to be using people as an antenna. That's the stated purpose of the technology. So we already know that 5G, the stated purpose of 5G is to make radiation beams that can actually follow people around. 6G will go a step beyond that and actually use people as an antenna. Looks like the video guy is on vacation. And the software is starting to glitch. They don't want us reporting on this in ways that you can't even understand. Eventually the video guy will catch up with us. But essentially, if you're being targeted by this system, you definitely need to protect yourself while you still can. Again, here, this is the stated purpose of 5G, to follow people around with invisible microwave beams. And when it's targeting you, they ramp up the dose. And it basically mimics the stages of a disease to make you think it's natural causes or climate change. But these weapons not only make people sick, they can cause heart attacks, strokes, cancers, and the like. And they basically step you through stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 by ramping up the dose. The only way to stop it is with shielding. And you can reverse early stage cancers by shielding. Late stage is another story. That's why catching it early is crucial. Being proactive in this situation is priceless. And again, it's why we continue to recommend this book, Transhuman Genocide, The Ultimate Guide to Directed Energy Weapons, Artificial Intelligence, and EMF Shielding. It basically lays out the narrative, it explains the weapons, it explains the tactics that are being used and what you can do to evade and survive, as well as explaining the recipes to make military-grade shielding that can basically deflect and protect you from these military-grade weapons. And it's much more difficult than you might think. Just using grounded aluminum foil or mylar is not enough against these weapons. They're built to be bunker busting. And so you basically need military-grade shielding. You're going to need a safe room. You're going to need a chest plate. You're going to need armor in the worst-case scenarios to survive. And this isn't a joke. This is very real. And there's overwhelming evidence out there that supports the claims that these communication systems have been weaponized. And again, it's not just the cell towers. We're talking about LED lights. We're talking about street lights. We're talking about smart meters. We're talking about routers, cell phones, new cars, even airplanes. Boeing is one of the biggest manufacturers of directed energy weapons. Why? Because they mount them on planes. And as they fly overhead, they pick up targets on the ground. You might think that's impossible, but that's exactly what's happening. They got air support, they got ground support, they got special units that'll come in, and basically it can turn into a siege-like situation if they're really trying to take you out. Nobody really wants to hear about this because they don't want to be targeted. But the problem is that everybody's being targeted. It's part of the Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, Georgia Guidestones program. They want to kill 90% of the people out there. So even if you're, trying to comply, chances are you'll get targeted. Just ask all of these sheeple that lined up to get the death vax. They were doing everything the television told them to do, and they were still getting taken out, like Jonestown. And that's basically the mentality that we're up against. These people are, off the hook, beyond crazy. And they just want to watch the world burn. They're opening the borders. They're raising the prices. They want everybody to die. It's just basically the nature of the evil that we're up against. And so there isn't much we can do until people start taking down this system massively. There's not much you can do other than protect yourself. The shielding strategies in this book work and will help you survive. And it will save you a lot of time and money in terms of research and development, to say the least. You can find this book on Amazon, Transhuman Genocide. There's the Kindle version, paperback versions, color, and black and white versions. There's even a slim version now. There's also a PDF version on our Patreon page. And we've made this book dirt cheap for people so that they can protect themselves. Books like this go for over $1,000 on Amazon, and it's basically mostly, math and equations, and it doesn't really give you any real solutions. This book gives you real solutions. It talks about the real problems, and it'll help you survive. And so don't be shy when it comes to sharing this video or reposting this video. Let people know this is a real problem. And there's a ton of people online that are being tortured, that are screaming, that are being killed, that are trying to get the message out. And of course, they're silencing and banning and censoring that information as much as they can. And they're trying to discredit people, especially people that just have a small following. And so, this needs to be basically the talk of the town. And it's not just the ULEZ cameras, it's every CCTV camera that's plugged into the smart grid. It's every smart meter, it's every smart car, new car with the LED GPS combo. It's the street lights, the death towers, the blimps, or the Starlink death grid. It's the planes. They've been quietly rolling out this system while we were busy doom scrolling from one crisis to another. They've been planning this years ahead of time, like the pandemics and 9/11 and the like. And they basically have it in for humanity. They have it in for society. They're not just poisoning the food, the air, the water, spraying you like bugs. They basically want to torture you and exterminate you with directed energy weapons. This system is beyond sinister, and everything that they say that is safe and effective turns out to be basically lethal and toxic. And even if you're not concerned about the weapons program, you should be concerned about the unprecedented levels of radiation that are out there now. And so people basically need to, start acting accordingly. This is an asymmetric war against humanity, and people are running around naked, totally naive to what's going on. It goes way beyond your worst suspicions, and it goes way beyond most people's imagination as far as the infrastructure that's out there. We can't talk about this enough given, what's happening to people. And so don't look at this as some kind of self-serving project. This is about humanity fighting for its survival, fighting against this system. And unless people are equipped for next generation warfare, they're just not going to make it. A ballistic, bulletproof vest isn't going to do anything against directed energy weapons. Burning down a death tower isn't going to cut it. An AR-22 isn't going to save you from this system. And that's why this system has been deployed and developed. You don't want to give up your guns? Well, they found another solution. And it's these death towers. And it's not a joke. It's not a drill. It's not, somebody's imagination. This is happening. And the evidence is overwhelming. And I think that, this video of this last will and testament of this victim is basically, as concrete as it gets. There's no mistaking that this guy is looking right into the camera, right at the source of the pain. And, we do this all the time. We know where the sound is coming from. We know where the pain is coming from. We know where the energy weapons are coming from most of the time. You just can't imagine how they've been embedded into infrastructure. But this guy knows, and it's the last thing that he knows before getting taken out. Shielding would have saved this guy. And soon it'll be impossible to go shopping, to go to work, to do anything without shielding in this environment. So take this warning seriously and start preparing. And don't just get the book. Start doing what it says. Start building a safe room. Start making emergency plates, shielding plates, chest plates, and the like. Start fortifying your bedroom. They especially like to attack people while they sleep. So don't get taken out by, climate change. Don't become a statistic. Protect yourselves and be part of the resistance. Fight back. If you're listening to this, you are the resistance.